Hi guys, this is Mrs. Riley and I wanted to show you guys a couple of examples of some of the questions that we were doing in the classroom. At the moment we are reading Odysseus and the Cyclops, book 9 of the Odyssey. And I am going to show you some examples of some of the questions that we answered in the classroom. And I used the first 3 paragraphs of the short story or the epic narrative, in order to demonstrate how to answer your questions. Okay, so let's get to it. One of the first answers that I decided to look at was character trait. And since I chose the first 3 paragraphs, the statement, it asks you to choose an adjective that describes your character. So cautious is an adjective that describes Odysseus. This is what I felt like. And the quote that I used to support my answer was when he says, "The rest of you loyal friends stay here." And that wasn't all, of course. He says, "The rest of you loyal friends stay here while I and my crew take ship and try and find out who these men are, whether they're cruel, savage, and lawless, or good to strangers, and in their hearts fear the gods." So he wanted to make sure, he wanted to take safety precautions to make sure that everything was okay before he invited all of the men from his ship to venture into this new land. Okay, so that's an example of how you can answer that question. You simply think of an adjective from your mind. It's not in the text. You have to infer it from what you've read about Odysseus, and then you support that with textual evidence. Okay, sorry, my hand's shaking. I'm trying to use my selfie stick that Dylan got me for Christmas. But my hand is shaking quite a bit. Okay, the next one, I decided to use the one about head. What is going on in the character's mind? So my answer is Odysseus wanted to ensure the safety of his men. It kind of tied in with the other one, and that's fine. And the quote I used was basically the same quote. Most people probably may not even have these 2 answers, these 2 questions, and our questions will be mixed up. You have a variety of questions to choose from. But it's okay if some of your information overlaps. I know that a couple of you were saying, well, may I use the same quote to kind of justify my answer or my claim from the other one? And that's fine as long as it's correct. Okay, so my answer was Odysseus wanted to ensure the safety of his men. And I used that same quote because, and I'll explain it, he wanted to make sure that he took good care of them, which also leads me to my next one. And I use that same paragraph. Basically, I'm just trying to show you it's not really that hard. You don't, even if you've forgotten a lot of the story, you don't have to remember all of the story in order to answer these questions, okay? So what is your character holding his hands? And here's another answer that ties into that same quote. Odysseus holds the lives of the other soldiers in his hands. And here at the beginning of the quote, he says, "I gathered my men together." And the fact that he calls them my men, this shows the reader that Odysseus feels responsible for his crew members. He feels responsible for the lives of those soldiers. Another one, and this is the last one that I'll do, is one on symbolism. And with symbolism, you have to take an object, and that object must represent something else. Okay, so whatever you want your object to come from, to be, wherever you want it to come from in the text, is fine with me. I took my object from paragraph 3. In paragraph 3, they talk about the cave. When we had reached a nearby shore, we saw a deep cave overhung with laurels at the cliff's edge, close to the sea. Now, the cave was my object of symbolism because I thought that the cave represented mystery and danger. It also builds suspense, and it represents mystery and danger to me because, as you see, it says the cave was deep. That means it's probably so big and deep that you couldn't see inside of it. It was overhung with laurel. So at the entrance of the cave, you have all this greenery hanging down. So it makes it even harder to see into this cave. And it's on the cliff's edge, close to the sea. And a cliff, to me, it represents danger. So this also builds suspense. And that's another reason why I chose it. So the cave represents mystery and danger and also builds suspense. Okay, so basically this is just a quick a quick mini lesson on how to answer those questions. And you don't have to go through the whole entire epic in order to answer these questions. Just simply focus on a section or a portion of the text, and I think you'll do just fine. All right, guys, I'll see you guys in your next class period. Have an awesome day.